My cheating ex-wife went out with a guy and got jumped by 4 girls who beat the shit out of her. I'm so devastated right now, I don't even know where to start. This is a long story. The only reason I even found this sub is that this has been trapped in my head all day, and I haven't been able to speak to anyone about it. Please be kind. So, I've been married 16.5 years with my wife for 21. We have had ups and downs. When I met her, she was the nicest, kindest woman I'd ever met. I literally told her she was going to be my wife 2 minutes after meeting her. We have 2 kids that are my entire world. After our second child, she started to get distant, depressed, and different. I thought she was struggling with depression. She refused to look into it. She wanted couples counseling, but this was during the recession. And I was working 4 jobs and a side business just to barely make it another month. I couldn't afford another $50 a week, especially when she wouldn't talk to me. I asked her what was wrong, and she'd always say, "I don't know." But she'd have good weeks and bad weeks. Sometimes she'd be great, others, she'd be mean and disrespectful. Once we were back on our feet, I begged her to go to counseling with me. She eventually said okay, but I don't think she liked it. We went to a woman that I think she thought was going to just tell us that I was doing everything wrong, and that I needed to do better. She didn't at all. At first she told her the same thing I did. I can't work with, I don't know. So my wife said she needed more help around the house. Cool, this was 2015. Since then I've worked 3 jobs, backed in the house, emptied the dishwasher and sink daily, helped with the laundry, taken out the trash, and straightened up the house. Things were good for a bit. Then she got mean again. This time she started snapping at my daughter a lot. Finally, I pulled her aside and told her that I would never divorce her. I would try to work and make our marriage better for as long as it took. But I think because my daughter is so much like me, she was taking her venom out on her, and I can't allow that. So she wanted a divorce, that's what we do. The next day, she said she wanted to try and make it work, and for a few years, things were good. She even went to a doctor and got prescribed antidepressants but insisted on the lowest dose. Fast forward to 2020. She went right back to the meanness and disrespect, but worse. There was total disdain in her voice whenever she spoke to me and a look of disgust whenever I showed up somewhere. It hurt. Sex was never a problem with us, and we both seemed to really enjoy each other, but when she'd get in those moods, she'd withhold. Still, I never cheated, even though as a bartender I had many offers. At one point, my sister told me she just assumed I had been cheating because she knew my wife wasn't putting out for so long. I told her I'd never do that. So now we're here. Last month after a wedding, we were at a hotel, and I was hoping to fool around when she told me flat out, "I don't want you. I think we should get divorced." We agreed to do it, but hold off till after the holidays for the kids. She fell asleep 10 minutes later. I laid in bed with tears pouring down my face for 3 hours. I thought it was going to be the most pain I'd ever felt. Then there's today. A week ago, she had to go to a party for my daughter's softball team. At midnight, she wasn't home, so I checked our Life 360 app, and she was at an Applebee's. Weird, but I thought she met her friend for a drink after. Thing is, she was there till 1, but they close at 12. I asked where she went, and she said some bar with the people from the party, never said Applebee's, which was odd. 2 days later, she said her boss told her she had to put a password on her phone because of work emails. Now I was suspicious. Today, her mom called and asked if I could help her husband move a rug, so I went to help. When I was done, I'm standing outside and looked on the Life 360 app to see that she had left work. She had, so I decided to try something. My wife has a bad habit of needing to talk on the phone when she drives, so I called her. She was short and said she had to go because she was talking to her mom, who was standing right in front of me. Okay, I went home. When she got there, I asked how her mom was and if she had told her I had seen her today. She said she hadn't and asked where I saw her. I said, "At her house when I called you." Her face dropped. She tried some half-cocked excuses, but finally admitted she had been seeing someone for a few months before we agreed to divorce. I was shell-shocked. 10 minutes later, she was acting like nothing happened. I don't know if it was not to tip off the kids or because she just didn't care that she crushed me, but I suspected the latter. I couldn't even talk to anyone about it, as we've kept it secret that we agreed to divorce so nobody slipped to my kids. And we had to go to Christmas Village tonight, so we were out all night. My kids knew something was wrong with me but just thought I was in a bad mood. My son literally said, "You sound hurt. I just don't know what I'm gonna do." The prospect of divorce was already stressful enough, and I've lost 20 pounds in the past month without even trying. Just figure out how we can do this without me losing my house. I've spent the last 15 years paying off her $10,000 in credit card debt, $15,000 in student loans, and a $45,000 car. Now I'm gonna owe her at least $40,000 for the house. It's going to be painful, but I think I can do it. I was finally starting to mentally prepare myself for the divorce, and then this betrayal just hit me like a ton of bricks. In the last month, she's hurt me more than I ever thought possible. I don't even recognize the woman I married anymore. I don't even know what to do. My daughter's gonna be heartbroken when we tell her we're splitting up. But I don't even know if I should tell her about this because I don't want her hating her mom. I'm lost, confused, stressed beyond belief, and heartbroken, and I look at my wife and she looks like she couldn't care less. Thanks for listening. I don't even know if what I wrote is allowed or too much off topic, but either way, I thank you because it was very therapeutic to just type it out and get it off my chest. Even if I'm typing this with more tears streaming down my face. Thank you guys. Let's check in for the community reaction. Judgmental Panda starts us off. This may hurt and I definitely don't advise looking into it. But I think there's a pretty decent chance she had been cheating on you in the past too. I say this to point out that this woman is not the person you married, nor the person you think she is. I'm of the opinion that if the other parent is stable, then yes, it is probably best not to tell one's kids about the affair, or at least not until they are older. For you, it is important to just remember that she is not the woman you think she is. You are not mourning over who she is, but who you thought she was. Getting mixed up on this is how you get tricked into false reconciliation after her affair partner doesn't work out, which just puts you back here a few more months later when she cheats again. Someone who can't even muster up guilt, let alone remorse, is very toxic. If needed, talk to a lawyer about the best way to separate while the divorce is going through. And stick to a co-parenting app to keep all communication to a minimum. Healing will be hard while she is still around. I would advise seeking therapy or relying on social support from friends and family. Also, it might be worth getting checked for STDs. Finally, do not assume she will be amicable, even if she is already getting far more than she deserves. Do not assume she has what's best for the children in mind, as even if she wanted a divorce, damaging a co-parenting relationship like this shows a complete disregard for what is best for the children. There is a pretty decent chance she will try and spin it so that daddy is the bad guy. I genuinely do not know of a solution to prevent this kind of toxicity and hope someone has a better answer. I just hope that if it does boil down to picking sides, they don't get stuck with the person that can stab family in the back with a straight face. Someone who can do this and not even feel guilty, let alone remorseful, is toxic. Sorry you're going through all of this. I hope it'll start getting better soon. Mentobacco31 wants to say, don't hide your wife's affair. She's going to make you look terrible before this is over if you do. I'm not saying tell the kids, but you should tell the rest of the world. Don't protect her, she didn't. Protect you. 3-month update from D-Day. Okay, so it's been 3 months from my initial post and it's been quite a trip. Please excuse the length of the post. I got a lot of advice on my initial post, look at my submission history to see the original story, but I decided to follow my gut on how to proceed, and it's going okay. Still not done yet, as expected, considering it's only been a few months. So anyway, a week after my post, I found the guy's name when she was sending a Facebook message on her computer. Apparently, that's their sole way of communicating, most likely because he's married with 3 kids. He's also a doctor and rich. That one was a real punch in the gut to a guy working 3 jobs to survive. On Christmas, I found out she had told her whole family we were divorcing, along with my sister and my cousin's wife. Meanwhile, I had still told nobody out of fear of getting it back to my kids before the holidays were over. Her mom was not happy. Thought she was making the biggest mistake of her life. Same with my sister and her best friend. She didn't care. She also left out about the part of her cheating, of course. I couldn't talk to her mom at Christmas because she was already starting to cry and I didn't want to tip off my kids. So I set it up to talk to her a few days later. The next day, my wife and I sat down and talked. I told her I didn't want her seeing the guy again until everything was done. It was disrespectful, and if she wanted to divorce as friends, she doesn't treat a friend like that. She agreed. Then we discussed how we'd split things up. I think I did okay. No alimony, no child support, 50-50 it's custody. We both supply clothes for the kids, everything else gets split equally. I'm keeping the house. I have to pay her $43,000 in equity. In the end, she walked with about $40,000. She owes her dad $10,000, an 800 credit score, and 0 debt, all thanks to me. When I finally went to speak to her mom, I found out that when she found out we were going to talk, she came clean to her. She originally lied about cheating when her mom asked, then told her the truth after. My mother-in-law was furious, really ripped into her, then cried to me that she was scared I was going to cut her out of my life, which I assured her would never happen. Fast forward to mid-January, now I'm down 40 pounds. I'm going to the gym every day to relieve stress. Now we have to tell my kids. I told her I wouldn't lie to my kids, but I wasn't going to just out her either. I said if they asked, I'd try to steer the conversation a different way. She said she felt the same way. The thing is, I knew this wouldn't fly with my daughter. She's like a 14-year-old clone of me. She can spot BS a mile away, and that's what happened. Before we even said anything, my daughter asked if we were getting divorced when we sat them down. My wife said yes, and my kids lost it. Lots of crying. I saw them crying and I started crying. Then my wife made a big mistake. She said, listen, we both want this. And that's when my daughter let her have it with everything she had. She screamed, that's BS, my father would never want this, you want this, look at him, he's crying. I've never seen him cry in my life, this is you. Then she asked if my wife was cheating on me. My wife tried to change the subject, but she wasn't having it. She grilled her while screaming, tell me the truth, over and over until my wife fessed up. After that, it was like I could see her brain moving. She started calling every red flag over and over and made my wife confess to it. In 3 minutes, she got more out of her than I did in a month. Afterwards, I spoke to my kids alone. My son is 12 and just needed reassurance that things were going to be okay and would change as little as possible. Although now I can see he's dreading when things finally finish. My daughter told me she was crying for me, not her, because of how hurt I had to be. I comforted her and made her feel better. Then she asked me to make her a promise because I've never broken a promise to my kids. She asked me to promise that if, when this is all over, my wife loses her new house and needs a place to stay for a while, I would let her stay here. All this crap going on, she could have asked for anything, and she looked out for her mom. I couldn't say no. When she talked to her mom, she asked her to promise to stop talking to the guy. She broke that promise after 2 weeks. Since then, she started sneaking around again and seeing him for half-hour stints at places like Target. I caught her again and again we had a blowout and again she agreed to stop seeing him even though she still talks to him. Apparently she has feelings for him now. Hey, like I said, she can't BS my daughter, so eventually she'll know she broke that promise. There's no need for me to tell her. Right now, I'm in the process of refinancing my house and she's looking for a house of her own. She's got her rich aunt co-signing for her, so hopefully she'll find something soon. Also, one other thing, and I know this one is going to be controversial on this sub. Yes, I have proof, and yes, I know everything about this guy now, but I have decided not to tell his wife. I'm not proud to say it, but my motives are completely selfish and self-serving. The fact is, if I tell her, they get divorced, and then when my wife leaves, she has already made a relationship waiting for her. A rich guy who, even after divorce, will still be rich, taking her on expensive dates and nice vacations, helping her with her bills, etc., while I struggle. As much as I want to hurt this guy, I want to hurt her more. When she leaves, her sneaking around is over, but his isn't. They won't be able to go out on dates. She'll get to see how much of a side piece she really is. They'll only be able to meet at her house, and he'll have to leave as soon as he's finished. He won't be giving her any money because it could tip off his wife. And now that she has feelings for him, she'll see if he's going to leave his wife and family for her. I'm betting he won't, but if he does, fine. But he's going to have to be the one to have the balls to do it. I'm not going to do his dirty work for him. That's what happened with her rich aunt. She screwed a married man. The wife found out and left, and she moved right in, went from being a broke single mom to a millionaire. That might happen with my wife, but I'm not going to help make it happen. Thanks for reading. I still read this sub all the time, and it's been extremely therapeutic. And please try to be nice. I know everyone won't agree with everything in this post. Just please try to understand that every situation is different. Thank you. Let's see what the community has to say about this crazy story. NearAldrin20 says, if the guy decides to leave his wife, then give her all the evidence you might have for her to take him to the cleaners. My Fun Times chimes in, I understand your view about the affair partner, but you deserve to know, and so does his wife. Don't be complicit in helping him cheat. Of course, do it anonymously, only after your situation is finalized. Heck, maybe you could arrange it so that the affair partner blames your soon-to-be ex-wife for the breakup of his marriage. Then both of them lose. It's been 16 months since I found out. Here's an update, so if you look at my post history, you'll see what happened. Caught my wife cheating after almost 17 years of marriage. So, the divorce finalized this past August. I promised my kids their lives would change as little as possible, and I've kept that promise. In August, we finalized the divorce. She was looking for houses while living here. She got outbid 16 times. I found a house around the corner for me that she loved. I spoke to the owner, and he basically let her have it without taking any other bids. She never would have gotten the house without me, which makes me feel good, as my kids are now never more than 30 seconds away from me. Our divorce agreement worked out great for me. No alimony, no child support, 50-50 its custody. I kept the house and paid her the equity. I was able to refi before interest rates skyrocketed. The next few months, I basically refurnished my house after splitting the furniture, changed some stuff around, changed pictures, focused on that and my kids. Stayed positive. Kept going to the gym and working. It's been good. I've been friendly with her throughout, which put my kids at ease and helped them get used to everything. She even came to Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve at my sister's. People think I'm crazy, but I let go of the ill will and helped my kids celebrate the holidays normally, and that makes me happy. Financially, I've been doing great. While I'm not. Sure, I think she's struggling. She was never the best at budgeting money. We are supposed to split everything the kids need outside of food and clothes, but I wind up paying for more than I should. Which, I don't mind because I know it's going to my kids. In December, I met a beautiful, wonderful woman. She lives about an hour away and is divorced with 2 kids. Because of the custody schedule, we only get to see each other a few times a month, but she's amazing and really makes me happy. I don't know what my ex's dating life is like. I don't know if she's still seeing this guy or not. I know she's hooked up with a couple of other people, but I don't ask about it. I know one night she went out with a guy 3 weeks after she moved out, and she got jumped by 4 girls and had the crap beat out of her, which I'm not gonna lie made me laugh. As far as the guy she was cheating on me with, well, we have some mutual friends that I've told. One couple I'm friends with saw him with his family at a function and started having a conversation in front of them where they mentioned my name and that I had found out my wife was cheating on me. They said I knew who the guy was but hadn't done anything yet. Then they started saying stuff like, "Man, if he decides to go after him, they won't find that guy's body for 50 years. And crap like that, just laughing and watching him sweat without letting on. They knew it was him. I don't think my ex ever told him I knew about the affair, so that was probably a nice surprise for him. I'm sure I'll run into him eventually. Not sure how that would play out, but I'm not going out and seeking it." So basically, 16 months after D-Day, I've got a new girlfriend, great relationship with my kids, a happy work life, I'm in great shape physically, and I'm doing great financially. I don't think it could have worked out for me any better. So if anyone going through it now needs some advice, here's what I would say. Stay positive. Don't let the resentment and negative feelings take control of your life. If you don't have a lot of money, try to sit down and work out a deal with your spouse without lawyers. That way you actually have some money to walk away with. If you have kids, try to maintain an amicable relationship with your spouse. I know how hard this is, but you're doing it for your children, not for them. Exercise is a great way to de-stress. Find a gym and start going. It'll help your mental health as well as your physical health. Remember that every situation is different. Find the path that works best for your situation. When they are gone, remember they are gone. They aren't coming back to you, and if they do, it's probably not in your best interest. Trust is gone forever, so move on and find someone that deserves you. If you're not the kind of person that meets people in the world often, try a dating app like Bumble. They work. I know this update isn't as satisfying as some in this sub would like, but it really worked out well for me and my kids, and that's all I really wanted. So yeah, I'm a lot happier now than I was after that first post, and I think that's the goal of this sub in the end. So thanks for all the kind words and support, it helped a lot. Firstly, it's unfortunate to hear that someone had to go through the pain and trauma of discovering their spouse's infidelity after almost 17 years of marriage. It's never easy to go through a divorce and deal with the emotional and financial aftermath, but it's good to see that the OP was able to come out of it in a positive way. It's impressive that OP was able to keep their promises to their children and ensure that their lives changed as little as possible during the divorce. It's also great to see that they were able to maintain an amicable relationship with their ex-spouse, which helped their children adjust to the changes in their family dynamic. Furthermore, it's admirable that OP was able to focus on their own personal growth and happiness through exercise, finding a new girlfriend, and continuing to work on their financial stability. Overall, the post highlights the importance of staying positive and finding a path that works best for your own personal situation when going through a divorce. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. This video has now come to a close. We're done. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with friends. It's the ultimate high five. Tune in again for more content galore. Until then, peace out, and we'll see you once more. See you next time.